Woe to you of earth and sea.
Welcome to Satan is My Superhero, a show for atheists, scoffers, heathens, and unbelievers. I'm your host, Judas Falling. In this episode, we warm up the speculum with our breath, give the old forceps a wipe with our handkerchief, and insert the internal ultrasound wand right
Gross.
to study the embryonic beginnings of heavy metal in the womb. The debut self-titled 1970 album,
Black Sabbath.
There is debate as to who the first metal band were and who released the first metal album.
Debate? Really? Amongst a bunch of nerds? How peculiar.
This band and this album are always in that debate. It doesn't matter, this isn't a metal nerd show.
Are you sure? 'Cause I'm looking at one right now.
We're interested in the devil, and he certainly shows up on this recording.
Okay, back on track. I love it.
In 1968, a bunch of white working-class lads from working-class Birmingham form a band that would go on to find a worldwide fan base of
predominantly, but not exclusively, white working-class males.
Of course, Tony Iommi, Bill Ward, Geezer Butler, Jimmy Phillips, Alan Clarke, and Ozzy Osbourne name this soon-to-be rock and roll juggernaut.
The Polka Tulk Blues Band.
Oh dear.
It was then decided Philip and Clarke were dead weight, but no one had the guts to kick them out of the band, so they pretended to break up. I've done the exact same thing, I get it.
Awkward.
Iommi, Ward, Butler and Osbourne then started a new band.
Ozzy, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm performing with my new band.
No band? But you said you were quitting music to concentrate on your alcoholism. You said you thought about it long and hard and nothing could ever change your mind.
Oh yeah, but you know, with time I changed my...
We broke up the band yesterday. Who's in your new band? Anyone I might know?
You probably know some of them.
This new band was about to throw off the shackles of psychedelic flower rock and create an evil sound that would terrify parents, shake loose the foundations of sanity and call forth the end of Western civilization. This band would be known as
Earth.
Somehow, it's worse. If I had ovaries, they would be shriveling up right now.
Local music promoter Jim Simpson convinced Earth to play gigs at his club in exchange for free t-shirts. After seeing the audience response to the band, Simpson became their manager.
Hey, you guys know how I got you to play a show for free t-shirts? Yeah, this is why you need a manager.
According to legend, Butler saw people lining up for a low-budget Italian horror film starring Boris Karloff called
Black Sabbath.
Butler had the career-changing epiphany,
People spend so much money to see scary movies.
so they immediately wrote the song Black Sabbath. That's right, just to make life difficult for everyone. The opening track on the debut album Black Sabbath by the band Black Sabbath is called Black Sabbath.
That's a buttload of
Black Sabbath.
Although at this time the band was still called
Earth.
Are you freaking kidding me?
But then they discovered there was another band called Earth.
You can say whatever you want about it, but there was only ever one.
The Polka Tulk Blues Band.
So finally, and in typical Black Sabbath band naming fashion, they put no effort in and simply named themselves after the most recent song they had written.
Salt shaker.
No.
Wallpaper.
No.
Chair.
Are you just saying the things that you see in the room?
Fish and chips.
No, you're just naming the last thing we ate.
Dad's army.
Now you're just naming the last TV show we watched. What next? The last movie we saw?
Black Sabbath.
I give up.
Of course I joke. The moniker Black Sabbath was not just a song title and a name change, it set them on a whole new stylistic path. This combination of heavy psychedelic rock with horror film aesthetics has arguably influenced heavy metal as we know it today more than anything else.
Who's your daddy?
What happened with the other band called Earth?
They released 2 singles which failed to chart and broke up.
Okay, guys, we need to come up with a name for the band. Everything is on the table. There are no bad ideas.
What about Earth?
I really hate to admit this, but I was wrong. There is a bad idea.
So on October 16th, 1969, Black Sabbath went into the studio with producer Rodger Bain to record
Black Sabbath.
Eventually they emerged from the studio with that album completed later the same day.
Because they are legends, and they had to get to a gig that night.
If you want to support the show... Hey, I'm Bluey.
No, you're Bandit.
What? Why?
Because you're as old as Dad.
That's technically impossible.
Why do you think you got a chair?
I'm sitting down so we're all the same height.
Okay, Butler. To support the show, follow the links at
Satan is my superhero.
.com. You forgot the .com. It's common at your age.
The opening track, as already mentioned, is titled
Black Sabbath.
and is based on an experience Butler claims to have had. Butler had been raised Catholic and believed in the devil. As a young man reading about Aleister Crowley and the like, he took it all very seriously. One night after receiving a stolen book of magic from Ozzy, Butler woke from a nightmare to see a shadowy figure at the end of his bed.
Mom, is that you?
No, it's not me. I'm a ghost. Woo!
Mum, stay out of my room, for crying out loud. I'm 28.
The song uses the devil's interval, also known as the tritone.
A musical interval composed of 3 adjacent whole tones or 6 semitones. It sounds evil.
According to Ozzy's autobiography,
I am Ozzy.
The first time the band played the song live,
All the girls ran out of the venue screaming. Isn't the whole point of being in a band to get a shag, not make the chicks run away? What the bloody hell is this?
You said bring some chicks backstage.
the song Black Sabbath made it to number 1 on Rolling Stone's 100 Greatest Heavy Metal Songs of All Time list in March this year. Rolling Stone's senior writer Kory wrote,
Today, Black Sabbath exudes the same raw, infernal majesty. It's both scary and fun at the same time. It's the feeling all metal bands have been chasing ever since, and it still reigns supreme.
What's the new song about?
Well, I was thinking it needs to be scary and fun. So, it's about a deranged dentist pulling your teeth out with no anaesthetic.
What's the fun part?
It all happens on a water slide. It's a metaphor for late-stage capitalism.
Of the 7 tracks on the album, 2 were covers. Lyrically, there were some more mentions of Lucifer. There's songs about falling for the wrong woman. There's songs based on literary characters from the worlds of J.R.R. Tolkien and, as we mentioned in our last episode, H.P. Lovecraft.
In a nutshell.
You've got Satan, horror, fantasy, and women of questionable morals.
That's how we metal. Bitches.
The album cover is a photograph of a black cloaked figure in front of a 15th century watermill in Oxfordshire. The mill has actually appeared in many movies and TV shows. Most notably for our purposes, it featured in an episode of Inspector Morse titled
The Day of the Devil,
where the inspector must track down an escaped devil worshipper.
Hold it right there, devil worshipper. I'm armed with a piping hot cup of tea, and I'm not afraid to use it.
The photograph was taken by former ballet dancer, Korean War veteran and photographer Keith McMillan, who would go on to direct music videos for
Culture Club, Blondie, Pat Benatar, Queen, Bob Marley, Simple Minds, Kiss, Ian Gillan, Paul McCartney, Mike Oldfield, Motorhead, Kate Bush, Bananarama, Billy Squier, Foreigner, Wings, and The Clash. So basically everyone cool and The Clash. I joke, obviously I'm joking. Simple Minds also suck just as hard.
The model in the photo was at the time 19-year-old Louisa Livingston. McMillan claims Livingston was nude under the cloak.
Aren't you all nude under your clothes?
If you're wondering whatever happened to the young happy-go-lucky, bright-eyed, flower child Livingston, well, she grew up to be a boomer and now spouts all the right-wing conspiracy theory talking points you can think of on social media. Anti-vax, COVID denial, anti-trans, it's all there. And she also trained for 3 years at the
Faculty of Astrological Studies in London
to become an astrologer.
I'm not a chart, see? I'm a Capricorn.
Finally, Black Sabbath's debut album, Black Sabbath, featuring the song Black Sabbath, was released in the UK on
Friday the 13th.
in February 1970. And obviously, because we're still talking about it more than half a century later, and it's responsible for an entire genre of music, the critics loved it.
That was sarcasm, dummy.
Yeah, they hated it. Rolling Stone's Lester Bangs described the sound as
Discordant jams with bass and guitar reeling like velocitized speed freaks all over each other's musical parameters, yet never quite finding sync.
Guys, what song are we playing?
We were playing a song?
Again, in his autobiography, Ozzy responded with,
Being trashed by Rolling Stone was kind of cool because they were the establishment.
and he added,
Those music magazines were all staffed by college kids who thought they were clever, which, to be fair, they probably were. Meanwhile, we'd been kicked out of school at 15 and had worked in factories and slaughtered animals for a living, and then we made something of ourselves even though the whole system was against us. In your face.
Despite what the establishment thought, the album charted in the UK and would end up spending a year on the US charts, moving over 1 million units.
Totally inappropriate guitar solo!
Hi, it's the Reverend Steph here. The Genuine Hoots of Joy would love to get 1 million views, and you can help that dream come true. Just go to satanismysuperhero.com and follow the link to our YouTube channel.
Sing it with me, people!
Just another rock cliche song.
Just another rock cliche song.
What does Black Sabbath have to teach us more than 50 years later? This band was defined in no small way by its limitations. Guitarist Tony Iommi had the tips of his fingers cut off in an industrial accident.
Ouch, they're really smart.
This forced him to mould his own finger attachments, tune his guitar down to make bending the strings easier, and limited what types of chords he could play, all of which created his unique sound.
Hey Ozzy, I've been experimenting with different tunings. What do you think of this one?
Oh, I think you found the brown note.
Geezer Butler admitted he didn't even really know how to play bass, he just followed Iommi's riffs. Doing this is now an obvious way to make your riffs heavier, but at the time it was unique.
Heavy.
And let's face it, Ozzy has a unique voice. In any other musical genre, Ozzy Osbourne is an unhoused individual with severe psychological issues and substance abuse problems who has wandered in off the street, avoided security and grabbed the microphone. He invented an entire category of music that turned those attributes into stardom.
Security to the backstage area. We have a situation.
Hey, let go of me. I'm the lead singer.
And speaking of Ozzy, it's only fitting we leave the last word to rock and roll's Prince of Darkness himself.
I don't believe in a bloke called God in a white suit who sits on a fluffy cloud any more than I believe in a bloke called the Devil with a 3-pronged fork and a couple of horns. But I believe there's day, there's night, there's good, there's bad, there's black, there's white. If there is a God, it's nature. If there's a devil, it's nature.
And that's why Satan is my superhero. If you've enjoyed this episode, rate, review, subscribe, you know the deal. But please do go check out the website, satanismysuperhero.com, where you will find links to the merch store, our Patreon page, and all our social medias.
Sorry, force of habit.
Mum, stay out my room. I'm crying out loud. I'm 28. Did I hit the mic?
Nope, lost me place. Let me go again.
Older girls ran... No, I'm going to Michael Caine there.
That's all. Do they roar? Do they meow?
No, that was...
I don't know chickens.
Lizard is free. gentlemen, drilling in your cavity. Water slide dead to straight.